Gina's fired from Star Wars, and Papa Mando returns from buying lottery tickets. Damn, the nerds just keep on winning. Hello.
Hello.
My name is Brandon, and welcome to Quarantine. That'll probably change every week, but no matter how you pronounce it, it all ends the same. Before we take a dip into this week's casting news swimming pool, I gotta do a little bit of house cleaning. Housekeeping! What is Quarantine or Quarantine, you may ask? Well, it's going to be a weekly video series highlighting the news stories of the week, a la Pretty Much It or Schmoes Know Movie Show or Collider Movies, back when they used to do that sort of thing. Shows that I spent the better part of the last decade obsessing over, especially the Friday news show from Pretty Much It. And upon entry into the next step of my journey in the beautiful windy city of Chicago, I thought to myself, I could do that. I miss the days of waking up on a Friday morning, drinking a cup of coffee with the boys from Pretty Much It, talking about the weekly movie news, television news, and gaming news, and just laughing my ass off. So I wanted to create a video series that resonates with the same audience that I was a part of for such a long time. And if you're like me and you miss the Friday show days from Pretty Much It, then I think we'll get along pretty swimmingly. Granted, it's just me and there's not two people sitting next to me, but that may change over time. Quarantine is also going to be a separate review series that gives me the space to talk about the content that I ingested during the quarantine-filled 2020, or any new hobbies that I might have picked up along the way. If you're like me, and something tells me that you are, you spent a lot, and I mean a lot, of time on your couch, binge-watching anything that you could get your hands on. And now, I'd like to talk about anything that I've watched, from Survivor to New Girl to Avatar: The Last Airbender and the sequel series The Legend of Korra, rewatching the John Wick trilogy, playing Cyberpunk until it broke, which was pretty quickly, and The Last of Us, which I'll come back to with that headlining news story. I have a ton of things that I want to talk about, and this gives me the space to do so. In tandem with the news show, I want to take the time to reach out to friends and family and people in the community and see what new things that they might have watched or any new hobbies that they might have picked up. Maybe I'll reach out to my brother and ask him what he thinks of WandaVision, or I'll reach out to a friend from back home in Pittsburgh and ask them how they've spent their time. And when the pandemic subsides, which is hopefully soon, that doesn't necessarily mean that quarantine is over. We are now living in a new digital age where everything relies more heavily on the internet space. So there will still be lots to talk about. And if and when the time comes where I feel there requires a name change, I'll do so. But until then, this is Quarantine. The point of this is to shine a little bit of positive light on one of the worst years in recent history. Something that John Krasinski started doing with Some Good News. But don't worry, I will try not to sell out.
Raider!
But I don't want to talk about the negative things that happened in 2020. We all know it was a bad year. But instead, I want to talk about the positive things that I've taken from that year, as well as talk to other people about any positive things that they might have to reflect on 2020. Because we could all use a little bit more positivity. A little bit about me, though. My name is Brandon. I'm 26 years old, and if it wasn't clear enough, I love movies.
Gosh, I love movies.
I used to have a weird habit of buying movies randomly, leaving them on my shelf, and never watching them. So there's actually a bunch of movies on my shelf right now that I've never seen or never even opened. I plan to use this space to go through most of those movies and review them for my channel. And I very much look forward to engaging in this community, getting to know all of you lovely people and all of your interests and hobbies. But this isn't why you clicked on the video.
What?
It seems like there was a little sporting event earlier this week. I think it's called the Wonder Bowl, the Super Dish. I don't do sports very good, but I do know there was a fancy schmancy new trailer for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I hate watching trailers.
So, who would like to start? Mr. Barnes, why does Sam aggravate you?
15 seconds to drop. So what's our plan? Great.
Looks incredible. The trailer throws a lot of action at you, but not a ton of context. If WandaVision is the Twilight Zone, specifically with that episode where the kid mind controls a whole town to do what he wants, then The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is Bad Boys, or Lethal Weapon, the Fast and Furious Marvel show, which is great, by the way.
Salute me, familia.
And although we don't get a lot of story context to what's happening, we can certainly speculate. We are given another new look at the fictional city of Madripoor, which is located close to the real-world setting of Singapore and is home to the lawless and villainous characters of the Marvel Universe. It has a long history that deals with the mutants and the X-Men, specifically Wolverine, as well as ties to the master assassin group known as The Hand, with the island later revealed to be resting atop the back of a dragon. And not only are we getting a new fictional setting for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it appears we'll be returning to Sokovia, with the return of Baron Zemo from Captain America Civil War, arguably one of the best villains of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it seems Marvel will finally be appeasing fans with the dawn of his comic-accurate purple mask. We are given another look at Aaron Kellerman's character as part of the Flag Smashers, which I believe is a group of vigilantes or a terrorist organization that's a new spin on the Captain America villain Flag Smasher, whose primary goal was to unite the citizens of the world by removing their flags and national pride. Something that kind of makes sense to the world of today. And it seems like Sam will have to carry the burden of what it means to be Captain America in a not so politically correct world, when the US government chooses their own Captain America instead of following the wishes of a now old Steve Rogers. Sharon Carter returns to kick some ass, something that we haven't really seen too much of in the past movies, and it's certainly very exciting for me to see her come back. And something that I noticed, and some of you might have caught it, it pops up very quickly in the nightclub scene. But there appears to be a wall of skulls, or rather, Skrull heads. People widely know what Skrulls are, and someone is hunting them for sport? That's pretty messed up, but also insanely interesting world building. It's just setting the stage for Secret Invasion, which could be Marvel's next big crossover event. But the trailer ends with a comical stare-off between Bucky and Sam, giving us more of that bad boys flair. And I love when the therapist, or whoever she is, snaps her fingers and Sam looks over, but Bucky doesn't budge.
I mean, how old are you?
How old is he indeed? By my math, probably 101, 102 years old. So yeah, him growing up is a little past due. Captain America Winter Soldier is my favorite MCU movie, so I'm immensely excited to see where this series goes. But speaking of another franchise that I can't help but gush over, I have to talk about The Last of Us. The Last of Us Part 1 and The Last of Us Part 2 are probably two of my favorite games of all time, and the most emotionally invested I've been in characters in any form of media probably ever, especially the main protagonist, Ellie, as the sequel takes a deep dive into her mental stability, and it's very hard to witness the things that she goes through in this series. When it was announced that Neil Druckmann, co-president of Naughty Dog and creative director of The Last of Us, teamed up with Craig Mazin, best known for creating the 5-part miniseries Chernobyl for HBO, I was beyond ecstatic. What a perfect team to spearhead a story about human connections while navigating a post-apocalyptic zombie world where humans are more of the enemy than the zombies themselves. If you haven't played The Last of Us, I highly suggest finding a refurbished or used PlayStation 4 and get on it. In my opinion, it's worth the price of a console purchase alone. It is a very heavy story.
Oh, this is heavy.
And as if my level of excitement couldn't reach any higher, it was announced that Joel Miller, surrogate father and traveling companion of Ellie, would be played by none other than Pedro Pascal. What? You're telling me that they cast the guy that's best known for begrudgingly fostering a child across an unknown land in search of their greater purpose? I can't believe how right in front of your nose perfect that casting is. And I never would have considered it. And it would be nice to finally see more of Pedro's beautiful face. I saw some people on Twitter petitioning for Oscar Isaac to play Joel's brother Tommy. And I gotta say, if that happens, I will literally eat my shorts. That would be too good to be true. Not only did we get casting for Joel, but we got confirmation of who Ellie will be played by. For a while, people were petitioning for Caitlin Dever to play Ellie. I included. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought that she would be too old for the role. She's only 24, but I believe in part 2, Ellie is 19. It's not that big of a difference, but if they're trying to age this character up through the show's production, similar to that of Harry Potter, then the person that they actually chose is effing perfect. Bella Ramsey, best known for playing Lyanna Mormont in Game of Thrones, has been cast as Ellie. I actually know her more as Angelica from HBO's His Dark Materials. And she's 17, but she looks incredibly young. They could easily play her age down for a season or two, or however long they plan to flesh out the first game. and age her up when they reach the timeline of part 2. Or just let her age naturally. And by the time that they reach the timeline of part 2, she'll already be old enough. But she is perfect casting for Ellie. She has the ability to play that raw, stern emotion that Ellie requires, but also that spunk and viciousness that Ellie brings in the most dire moments. I could literally not be happier with these castings. I know a lot of people wanted Hugh Jackman to play Joel, but literally just go watch Logan if that's what you want. It's basically the same story anyways, just with mutants. But man, all of this just has me wanting to play the Last of Us games again. And I don't have much to say on the matter, but I'm really happy that Gina was fired from Lucasfilm. The things that she said on social media are unacceptable. And she should have been reprimanded for this stuff long ago. I have zero tolerance for people that talk like that and act like that and think like that. So the quicker they're removed from our faces, the better. Pardon this interruption, but just to clarify some of my statements in regards to Gina Carino. I do realize that this more recent firing is in regards to recent posts surrounding the Holocaust and comparison to the Conservative Party. I don't like to get very political, but what I will say is this seems like a reaction to a buildup of comments that she has made on social media in the past, and that this was just the final straw that led to her being fired from her talent agency. Nevertheless, she shouldn't be saying the stuff that she's saying online, especially working for a company that comes across as being very inclusive and politically correct. So it's not at all a surprise that she was fired from Disney because of her comments, whether it was past comments or the more recent remarks that she has made. Either way, she's probably not a very welcome person to work with, so this probably bodes well for The Mandalorian and the Star Wars franchise in general. That's all. Carry on. Goodbye, Gina. Good riddance. Oh look, cancel Chris Pratt is trending on Twitter again.
You just write shit you just make shit up!
If you like hearing me ramble about some nonsense, be sure to subscribe. Like I said at the beginning of the video, Quarantime will be a regular video series on my channel. Both talking about the news, reviewing movies and TV shows, and reaching out to the community. Talking with you, the people. And if you're caught up on WandaVision, be sure to check out my reviews for episodes 1 through 4, as well as my review for episode 5. Spoiler avoiders, beware. I'll be reviewing every forthcoming episode, hopefully the day that they're released. And if you'd like, come follow me over on Twitter. Yell at me over there about The Last of Us. Talk to me about WandaVision. Or anything Marvel, really. It's literally all I talk about. It's all I think about. But thank you for stopping by. And until next time, goodbye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.